please join me for the Pledge of Allegiance. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Okay, will the clerk please call the roll?
Mayor, would you like to have the invocation before?
Yeah, we can do that. David Barnes.
Here, so I'm here. Bow your heads with me. Dear Father God, God, before we even start, may we all just take a moment to be grateful and thankful for an amazing God who loves us dearly. Father, may we calm our hearts. May we open our hearts to conversation, to discussion. Father, we lift this meeting up to you. May everybody in this room work together to do the best thing for this community. As always, these people come here to serve you and to serve this community. May we communicate. We lift up the accident today. Pray for the healing and that the accident with the driver and everybody involved was okay. Thank you for all the people, the civil servants that were there on the scene to help out. God, thank you for this community. It is a wonderful community. We see blessing in it all over, but we ask that you protect it. We ask that you protect hundreds of years of just great community, great people. And God, we are here to continue that vision. So thank you, Father. We pray these things in Jesus' name. And everyone said, Amen.
Thank you very much. All right, now we get on track. Will the clerk please call the roll?
Botetto?
Here.
Bowman?
Here.
Clairgett?
Here.
Cole?
Here.
Elfers?
Here.
Kenna?
Here.
Ranky?
Here.
All right, all council members are present tonight. Not like they were not. Tonight we have a presentation, Vision 2050 Award presentation. I call on City Administrator Jason Wilson.
Thank you, Mayor, and good evening, Council. Once again, my name is Jason Wilson. I'm your City Administrator. With me tonight is our Puget Sound Regional Council Executive Director, Josh Brown. Josh, if you want to come up here and take over. Josh is going to give Council an update on a very prestigious award that the City received for our White River Restoration Project. He'll be joined up here in just a moment by our project team as well.
All right. Thank you. Excellent. Thank you so much. Mayor, members of the council, it's nice to see you again. The last time I was here at a Sumner City Council meeting was presenting a Vision 2050 award. That was a few years ago. To say it was equally packed back then as well, so you have good attendance at your city council meetings. As was said, I'm Josh Brown, Executive Director of the Puget Sound Regional Council. Our Vision 2050 awards are all about recognizing incredible work happening out in the region. Our organization is a regional planning agency that does work on behalf of Pierce, King, Snohomish, and Kitsap counties. So we're oftentimes looking long-term out to 2050. How many people are going to be living in our region? How many jobs we need to plan for? What do we do about transportation and infrastructure, making sure that we have enough housing? But it's really our member governments, our cities, our counties, our transit agencies, ports, tribes, that are on the ground getting projects done to be able to implement those regional plans. So one of our categories for the Vision 2050 Awards is working together, which happens a lot. And this project, the White River Restoration Projects, was a collaboration between the City of Sumner, Pierce County, the Puyallup Tribe of Indians, and the Muckleshoot Indian Tribe. And as these four governments came together to collaborate to identify and prioritize important projects for restoration in White River. One of the things I really liked about this project that was in my notes was there was a dialogue committee that met 57 times to be able to prioritize, collaborate, make sure that all the governments are on the same page. So I know for members of the public that are here at one meeting, right, sometimes it takes 57 meetings to get things done. But these projects are really important. There was construction of a new bridge, restoration of over 200 acres of habitat, updates to the levee setbacks, and improvements to important transportation routes. And one of the things I would just note as I wrap up, one of the early actions that our agency took in collaboration with the city was this entire area was recognized as a regional manufacturing industrial center in our regional plans at PSRC. So we refer to it as the Sumner Pacific Manufacturing Industrial Center. So in the entire region, this is one of the most important places where we have freight, warehouses, industrial jobs right here in your community. So I just want to recognize the city's work in collaboration with Pacific those years ago to identify and prioritize this area and continue to work to support this really critical manufacturing industrial center for the entire region. So job well done, Mayor. Congratulations to you and your team. I know there's a lot of hard work, and we're going to hear from some of your staff that took the lead on this great project.
Yes.
Mayor, I'd like to recognize just a few of our core project team members. I'll start with Doug Beagle, Development Services Director, Robbie Wright, Engineering Manager Specialist, is titled Just Change. I want to make sure I got it right. And then City Attorney Andrea Marquez. If they could come up and pose for a photo with the award, Mayor, if you could come down as well. This is just the core project team, but I will let you know that there was probably anywhere from 20 to 30 additional staff members that regularly participate in the project planning or are currently out working on the project through inspections and daily response to all the digging that's going on out there. We're trying to move 1 million cubic yards of dirt this year, and we're well on our way. So we appreciate all the project team. So maybe if you guys want to go in front, I think it'd probably be best. Okay. Carmen, is that okay if they're up here?
Where's the council? You act like we know each other, right? Okay, excellent. Congratulations. Keep up the great work. Yeah. You're welcome. Congratulations. Congratulations. Yep.
All right. So this is Stormwater Awareness Week. We are going to call on Robbie Wright, Engineering Manager, and he will read a proclamation for into the record to make introductions, and he will introduce some high school kids.
Yes, thank you, Mayor and members of the council. So I'd like to read the proclamation for Stormwater Awareness Week, which is October 4th through 11th, 2025. Whereas stormwater comes from precipitation that falls on hard surfaces and does not soak into the ground, becoming runoff. Runoff becomes polluted from tire wear, particles, and vehicle fluids, fertilizers, pesticides, bacteria, sediment, litter, and pet waste as it runs along roadways, sidewalks, parking lots, roofs, and lawns. And whereas runoff flows into the storm sewer that eventually flows untreated into waterways such as the White and Puyallup River and Salmon Creek. And whereas plants and soil filter water and improve water quality, on-site improvements such as porous pavement, stormwater ponds, native plants, rain gardens, bioswales, and other best management practices help with pollution prevention and treatment in stormwater runoff. It is in the public interest for community members and civic leaders in the city of Sumner to gain knowledge of and to maintain an ongoing interest and to recognize the potential of stormwater pollution prevention within our rivers, lakes, streams, and other water bodies. Therefore, be it resolved that the city of Sumner proclaims the week of October 4th through 11th, 2025 as Stormwater Awareness Week and urges all community members to join with representatives of the Washington Stormwater Center and government agencies and activities and events designed to increase awareness of stormwater pollution activities and to recognize the substantial contribution public work professionals, environmental groups, and citizens alike make to protecting our local water bodies. Signed by Mayor Kathy Hayden, dated this 15th day of September 2025.
Thank you.
I think we have a short presentation on kind of what the city is doing for stormwater to bring some awareness to that. And I've got 2 students from Sumner High School who will present on a project related to stormwater and sustainability. They took to a national conference with the FCCLA Club. So I'll be quick on my part so they can have a chance to talk, and I have the power to click. So Stormwater Awareness Week. So it's a partnership with the city and the Washington Stormwater Center organizes it. What is stormwater? I read some of that, but really it's anytime it rains, rainwater hits the ground and runs off to a river, lake, or stream, which can cause floods, carry pollution, erode streams, and harm salmon. So what are we doing at City of Sumner to help improve stormwater? We really do 4 things. We do projects, maintenance, education, and assistance. Projects can involve things like trying to install filters throughout the town, which filters the water and can remove a lot of those harmful pollutants, but they're not everywhere. They're really kind of an afterthought in most cases, so we do what we can to retrofit them. Also, habitat projects and flood projects, like the White River Restoration Project we just heard about, is a type of stormwater project we do there on the White River and on Salmon Creek. All of these things we put in and install, we have to maintain. There are, I think, over 150 ponds around the city of Sumner, which all get maintained by our staff and our lead, Bo Lacrosse, up there, who, if you see him around, tell him how great of a job he's doing, pioneering things like buying a spider excavator and our goat maintenance program. We also do education, both to the public and kind of across the local region. Things like the Call of Duty campaign, which is a thing where we had put signs up in parks and neighbors can get signs to let people know that really you need to scoop up after, not just because it causes an unsightly thing, but it gets into the waterways. We also work with community groups to plant trees along Salmon Creek, which can help filter some of that water. So there's a photo of the Sumner Lions Club actually doing a tree planting on Salmon Creek. And we also do technical assistance. So the public, our side isn't the only ones contributing. Businesses also do have some contributions. So we work with businesses to provide assistance in how they can better manage things like their waste. And we do this all for free with a non-regulatory kind of lens on it. And so we can help businesses go from the left, which is dirty, to the right, which is clean, and really preventing risk. So what are things you can do? Everybody can make a difference when it comes to preventing pollution. It could be as small as picking up pet waste, properly disposing of your hazardous materials, using a commercial car wash to keep that water from running into the storm drains, or just reporting spills when you see them. We oftentimes have homeowners or other people call us and let us know things that we can't see, so we can get out there and clean them up and right the wrong. So that's really all I had for kind of a small little window on what the city's doing. And I've got 2 students from Sumner High School to talk about some of what the community is doing. It is Evie and Caitlin. They're both with the FCCLA Club at Sumner. And if you'd both like to come up and share about what your project was.
Hi, I'm Evie.
And I'm Caitlin.
Like you said, we're students from Sumner High School, and we wanted to share with you our project on stormwater awareness. We're in a club called FCCLA, through which we competed in a sustainability challenge. Our 3 main concerns to raise stormwater awareness are picking up pet waste, not overusing lawn fertilizer, and proper car care. And these are the actions we took to help spread awareness.
We mainly spoke to elementary schools. We spoke to Daffodil Valley and Maple Lawn Elementary. We just did short presentations for them about what stormwater is, easy ways to prevent it, like with our 3 concerns. And then we also presented at STEM Fair, where we handed out brochures about the concerns and what you can do, easy solutions. And then we made a social media post to reach people outside of just student-focused. And then, thanks to Joey Urquhart, we were able to place 27 storm drain stickers in our Sumner High School's parking lots and a little bit on Main Street.
In our competition at state, we presented to a panel of judges, earning silver and qualifying for nationals. In the months between state and nationals, we presented to more elementary classes and labeled more storm drains with stickers. And then at nationals this past July in Orlando, Florida, we improved and received gold, got 15th in the nation. This experience has been really rewarding for us, and we want to thank the city for the opportunity to work with them.
Thanks for listening.
Thank you, girls. Nice job. Okay. Robbie Wright is. Yeah. Okay, will the clerk please read the consent agenda?
Item number 1, approval of the checks and electronic payments in the amount of $8,540,569.71. Item 2, approval of the council meeting minutes from the August 18, 2025 regular council meeting and the 8th of September study session. Item 3, Heritage Park remediation consultant contract amendment. Item 4, Hops Alley temporary construction easement, Nicholson's Pharmacy. Item 5, Operations Facility, Security, and Access Control Contract Award. Item 6, Friar Avenue Trail Partial Land Acquisition, K&E Investments.
Thank you, Michelle. Deputy Mayor Bowman, would you please make a motion to adopt the consent agenda?
Yes, I'd like to make a motion to adopt the consent agenda.
Do we have a second?
I'll second.
Second it.
Seconded by Councilmember Botetto. And it's been moved and seconded to approve the consent agenda. Would any member like to remove any part of it? I hear none. All in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? Passes unanimous. All right. We have no public hearing tonight. We move to regular business. We have no unfinished business. Public comment. Michelle, would you read the rules for public comment?
When the clerk calls your name, please step up to the podium and you will have 3 minutes to speak. As a reminder, commentators are prohibited by state law from utilizing the public comment to campaign for an appointed or an elected office, or to use public comment to support, promote, or oppose any candidate for an appointed or elected office. This portion of the meeting is the council's opportunity to hear from the community, and they will not be answering questions.
Thank you, Michelle. So let's go to Zoom first. Do we have anybody on Zoom that would like to make a comment? All right. Nobody there. Okay.
Mayor, we do have 4 people who have signed up.
All right. And our first one?
Mr. Nick Bierman of Parker Road.
Mr. Bierman.
Microphone is on. Okay, thank you. All right, council members, would just like to ask, can you pause for 1 minute and admit that you owe the Ryan family a huge apology instead of continuing forward with the charade? The Ryan family gave the city a gift, and you treated this gift with contempt and disrespect. And now you are adding insult to injury by including unnecessary restrictions for the Ryan heirs to collect items from the very home that their ancestors graciously donated to this community. 3 hours on one day in the middle of the week, that's what you are allowing them to come and pick up items that were in the home that their ancestors gave to this community. Who concocted this ridiculous plan? Are you sitting up here on the dais okay with this plan? Your silence speaks volumes. The pickup date is on October 1st, and you still have one last chance to stand up for the Ryan family. Work with the family to develop a better plan. You could allow family members to make appointments to pick up items. You could give them more than 3 hours. You could give them more than a day. There's a lot you could do, but Sumner does the bare minimum. I already know that you won't work with the family, and it absolutely disgusts me. I don't know, what are you here for? Why did you sign up for this job if you're not going to help the members of this community?
All right, who's next?
Randall Adams, Sumner.
Randall Adams.
On this first anniversary of my mother's passing, I wanted to pay a quick tribute to her for bringing 2 and 5, 6 teenagers back up to her where she grew up from San Antonio, and thanking God, as I have every day since, for placing us here in Sumner. Having said that, I have convinced myself a long time ago that when the city employees said that by me suggesting we actually bring the Ryan House issue to the people and have the city and citizens work together to raise the funds needed to save it, not individually, and that if that failed, the city could honestly say that we all tried, that by me suggesting such a positive thing was putting people's lives at risk. I have copied you on both the email and the council's to the council 2 years ago and the city's reply. Instead of trying, the only reply I got was from the mayor's byline in a quarterly publication distributed to the whole city, stating that I was putting people's lives at risk without disclosing that I was trying to give the city a win-win situation. If successful, the city council and the city and the council could have been heroes for leading the effort to save the Ryan House. If unsuccessful, then you could honestly say you tried. Instead, the city chose to publish a huge pile of bovine excrement about me, and the staff knew it at the time. My win-win scenario was even offered after I watched in shock C.A. Wilson physically jab Kim Foster right in front of me. By the way, it was not only me and Kim that witnessed this lapse of intelligent thought by Jason. Others who also saw that act were so incensed that they are who financed the first lawsuit that made the city follow the law. No, this has been a civil dispute among citizens not trying to work together to find a solution. It's been a war between the diametrically opposed progressive city staff and those citizens who value the incredible history of Sumner that cannot coexist with one another in your minds. One side wins, one side has to lose. One side has all the money in the world because council continues to fund the litigious nature of the city attorney. Remember authorizing $75,000 for the last court battle that became a $150,000 bill without you voting for that extra $75,000. Now the city is going back to court and asking for $700,000 in legal bills when you only had to pay $200 in bills for a court case that you lost, a full-blown court case that you lost. Here's the $200 if you got to have the $200. Quit wasting attorneys' bills that the city is paying the high-dollar people up in Seattle to waste our money.
Thank you, Mr. Adams. The next person on the sign-up sheet is Amanda Henderson, Sumner.
I'll take us off the $92,000 that the city owes me. We'll get to that. Anyway, Ryan House, one note on this. I would encourage you all to get on the city's website. And Nancy Ryan wrote in with some questions. And one of the question was, can I designate my husband, family members, or any friends to assist me during the pickup process? And it clearly says, I understand we can't go in there because we're not Ryans. I get that. But it says, and I quote, you can have your husband and or family, no friends, ready with your vehicle to further assist you in securing and transporting your load after our staff brings your items to your vehicle. The deed limits people who are able to retrieve items to the Ryan family only. We don't want the stuff. We want Nancy Ryan to get it, and we wanted to come with our trucks to help her. We understand that you guys have to bring it outside the gate or whatever it is, but you're telling me we can't even help load it into a vehicle for her and transport it? Are y'all nuts? We can't help an elderly disabled woman load it, basically an entire house of wood and beams that you stole from her family. You won't even let us strap it down into our trucks for her and take it to her home or her storage unit or whatever she's going to put it in? Really? I mean, Again, I'll say it again. I've said it for 3 years to you guys. Check your moral compass. Y'all are lost. Y'all are lost. On the other note, I hope all of you took the time to watch the Planning Commission meeting from last week on Thursday. I put in a request for the recording because I watched part of it online. It was my son's birthday. I have yet to hear back from the city about that recording. First of all, let's go back to the nice to see people here at the city council. Usually, city council halls are only full when the city's doing something wrong. So the fact that yours have been full should be a red flag. You guys all need to watch that meeting. Unless you want 30 more of me coming to every single city council meeting and study session the way I have been, y'all better fix what's going to happen over there. You've been warned. I'm the example y'all have set when you screw over families in this town. We don't go quiet, and we won't walk away. We will protect our families. We will protect our children. So you don't like looking at this every week, you're going to see 30 more. Take it as a warning that you need to help those families. Watch that Planning Commission meeting. Bill Moody said it. We cannot expect these families to pay for damage that are caused by construction that we allow in this town. Yet you guys denied my insurance claim today. My kids couldn't believe it when I told them they denied it. They said, "What? You worked so hard. You fought so hard." Yeah. It's never too late to right a wrong. You guys still have options to fix this, and I encourage you all to do what's right. And if you're not going to right my wrong, save those 30 families.
The next person is Casey Henderson.
So just to kind of echo what my wife said, in doing the right thing, one of the last things that Kurt Brown said before he stepped down for health reasons was, "I'm sorry that this happened to you, and I hope the city does the right thing to fix it." And thus far, it has not. We did what we were supposed to do. Our claim was denied. We're not done yet. This is not some one-off deal, because there's plenty of other homeowners that are going through the exact same thing in the name of progress. And we have a city inspector who will just look past things. I have a binder this thick, complete with photos of clear and blatant L&I violations, OSHA violations. I mean, it's obnoxious. If anybody else were to do that in any other private job, if I were to do that when I used to work for Gary Merlino, my ass would have been on the street because I'm a liability. This guy is a liability, but nobody sees that, and so nobody will take responsibility for it. And it's sad.
There are no other people who have signed up for public comment.
Is there anyone else would like to make a comment? Okay. Seeing none, we will move on to new business. Sumner Bright Night, agree easement. Councilmember Elfers, would you like to make a motion?
Yeah, I'd like to make a motion to adopt Sumner Bright Night agree easement.
Thank you. Do I have a second?
I'll second.
Thank you, Greg. All right. I call on Deputy City Attorney Doug Ruth, and he is standing at the podium.
Thanks, Mayor. The agenda item today concerns an aerial right-of-way easement that would be granted by Sumner to Bright Night. Bright Night is a battery energy storage company, and I presume the council members are familiar with that. It's a company that has large batteries on a parcel that draws during low demand, stores that power, and then when there's high demand, will send it back onto the grid. And Bright Night would be working with PSE to do that. Quickly, as background, I wanted to give a little bit of history. Do I have the clicker? Is this the clicker? No, this is the clicker. Oh, it's upside down. That's why. Sorry. And boom. Okay, I'll give a brief history about battery energy storage, very brief. I thought this was interesting. In 1987, you have the first BESS. It was a lead-acid battery storage system, so the batteries you put in your flashlight, just larger versions of that. But it turned out that that wasn't very efficient, and so it didn't really take off. You do have BESSes that last into the new millennium, but you get the best boom when you have the advancements in the lithium-ion batteries. They're much more efficient, more cost-effective, and in between 2000 and 2004, 460 of these BESSes are built in the United States, mostly after 2013. Now, pulling it back to Sumner sees this movement forward. The City Council sees this movement, and they adopt Ordinance 2899 requiring that the BESS facilities get a conditional use permit, and the city adopts performance standards for those permits for that industry. In that same year, Sumner permits Bright Night to construct poles and transmission lines between PSC and the proposed BESS facility out on East Valley Highway. Now we're here in 2025. They have their permit, they have their leases for the battery storage. But the piece that we're talking about now at the meeting on the agenda is the little part between the transmission lines on their easements, what they've obtained from Derringer School District and Western Storage, across the road over to Cascade Water Alliance property. And not just any easement, it's the easement before you. And I did give it out, and there's revised copies for any of the public because it has changed since the committee meeting. So you have the most recent copy. This is the copy that is being voted on tonight. It includes a lot of boilerplate, but it has some terms and conditions that are particular to this this easement. So I wanted to go over those because things have changed. I'll quickly talk about the high points. It is an aerial easement, so it's granting rights in a column of air above the roadway, so that's a 60 by 85 area, and then 25 feet above that area, going up to wherever the FAA regulates, would be where they have their rights to put their transmission lines. So we're not talking about the roadway service, not talking about poles, just the lines. And the purpose for having that air column of air would be to construct, install, repair, replace, operate, and maintain utility lines. There would be 5 lines. They're big lines. They'd have a 230 volts going through them. 3 would have those 230 volts, and then 2 would be telecommunication lines. The term would be for 31 years with 2 options for 10 years extensions. A lot of the easements you see before you are forever. This is limited to their lease time. So they have leases for their battery properties for 31 years with 2 years extension, and the easement would match that. And there's a reason for that. If they lose their leases, they're probably out of business. They won't have rights to their batteries, which means they probably don't need the lines, and it may mean that they don't have the money to maintain the lines. So no leases, it's time for the lines to come down. In fact, we have an automatic termination clause where the easement would automatically terminate if they lose their leases. So for whatever reason, it's unlikely, but for whatever reason, if their leases terminate before the 31 years, then the lines would have to come down in a short amount of time as well. So if the lines don't come down, there are provisions for the city to remove the lines themselves after written notice, 120 days, and then we would be able to take them down and repair the road if there was any damage. Of course, if they're not a going concern, then the city has to be concerned that there won't be money there for them to take it down, and that's why there are provisions in the easement for a bond, which would be, because we're talking a long period of time, which would be recalculated over a period of time to keep up with inflation, plus 10%, just to make sure that the city is covered. There are requirements that they maintain and repair the lines so that they're structurally sound and safe for the public. And if they do not do so, then we can notify them to do so. And if they don't continue not to do so, we can do the maintenance and repair and charge them for that cost. Bright Night, in doing the maintaining, repairing, abandoning the lines, whatever it is required to obtain a right-of-way use permit. So they have rights to that air column, not the surface. But even if they were to work in the surface, have trucks on the surface, or work in the air, somehow outside the right-of-way, they would need to get a right-of-way use permit from the city. Even though they have those rights by the easement, they'd still need to get that permit. Bright Knight is also required to relocate its lines if the city needs to do work on the roadway. Their poles are out on easements outside the roadway, so it's unlikely that that requirement would arise. We also have quite a bit of right-of-way there, so we could add lanes without moving the right-of-way outwards. There's not a lot of demand there, but there is that possibility. If that unlikely occurrence happened, then Bright Knight would be required to move their lines and maybe even their poles. If they were required to, if the required action meant that they would have to get new easements, then we would bring them in to the design process, and we give a good faith look at possible changes to designs to avoid that if they had some options to avoid getting new easements. For the rights that we're giving them, the city would be receiving compensation in the form of $25,175 payment directed towards the improvement of the closest intersection at Forest Canyon Road and East Valley Highway. This is a intersection that's been on our tip, and we are in the design process for that, and that payment would go to assist with that. Finally, Bright Knight may mortgage its easements rights. This is for the purpose of establishing collateral for their lenders so they can finance the project. So hopefully that gives you the, oops, and I didn't follow up with I'm sorry. I hope my rhetoric informed you because I didn't keep up with my slides. But hopefully that gave you the legal background. Now I want to give you the, I guess, geographic background. Here's a diagram showing where that easement is and the dimensions of it. But I know sometimes those diagrams don't give you the full picture, so I'm going to give you a quick, if you'll indulge me, a quick tour here on Street View to give you an idea where this is. And the most prominent landmark there is the Class Weight
Mr. Ruth.
Water Alliance.
Mr. Ruth?
Yes.
I'm sorry, would you mind grabbing the mic and bring it over to you?
Sorry.
Thank you.
I can just take it. Okay. So the most prominent landmark is the Cascade Water Alliance power station. We can't get the PowerPoint open, so it's on my head here. Or the street view, there we go. So I just want to give you an idea where these lines are going to be hanging, how high up. So yeah, you can see we're a little bit south of the power station, and we're moving north. You can already see some lines. You can see my pointer. Yeah, you can already see some lines up here. That's pretty similar to what I think the Bright Knight lines will look like. We have some more here. There's a PSC property to the west, to the left of the screen, and that's where a lot of these lines are originating from. Then they're going up the hill to the major substation. We have some bigger lines here. Again, very similar height, I think, as you'd see with the Bright Knight ones. The Bright Knights will be at 45 feet. And so the Bright Knight lines won't go immediately up the hill. They'll parallel East Valley Highway right in front of the power station. So they'll come along here, and they'll all be on Cascade Water Alliance property. And then about at this point, there'll be a pole, and then they'll shoot up to the substation. So if you can imagine that, there'll be a pole there, and then we'll just follow the course of the lines here, and we're just approaching where the easement is at. In fact, that truck is a good marker there. That's about, so right about here is where a pole will be, and then want to cross the other side, over on the other side of this fence that kind of marks the right-of-way, and you can kind of see, there's some lines here. Those up, the lighter ones here, the faint ones, those are 100 feet high. These are probably 30 feet high. So the Bright Knight lines will probably be between those two levels. I don't know how they fit them in there, but I'm sure they've worked with PSC to figure that out. So I hope that gives you a kind of a geographical sense of what it will look like once they get their lines up. And with that, I conclude my presentation, and I'm happy to answer any questions that I can.
Okay, we're going to go to the public first. Do we have any comments from the public on this?
I think we do have some members from the Bright Night Corporation.
Okay. Let's do the Bright Night then.
Madam Mayor and members of the council, Jess Meline, last name is spelled M-E-L-I-N. I lead development for Bright Night in the Pacific Northwest region. Not a whole lot to add. That was a great presentation. So simply, we provided an overview. Simply put, it's an energy storage system that's connected to the White River substation. What you may not know is the White River substation is one of the main substations in this region for Puget Sound Energy. That's where the energy that comes over the Cascade lands. So as you saw in the picture, there's a lot of power lines coming in out of that substation. It's a very critical infrastructure, which is why they chose that as a location for an energy storage system. It would be a large battery that they'll be able to charge and discharge. In order to do that, obviously we need to connect via power line the energy storage system to the substation. So that's simply what we're talking about today is, as was mentioned, the existence of the power line was already permitted through the through CUP and through SEPRA through the city of Sumner. What we're talking about today is the aerial easement that encapsulates those power lines. And we provided a rendering what it looks like before and after. It's adding 5 more lines. There's 3 what we call conductors. So 3-phase alternating current energy. There'll be 3 power lines that carry actual physical electricity. And there's 2 what we call OPGW. They're communications, protection, and lines. There'll be a lot of sensors on the energy system as well as the grid, so we can talk back and forth and the controllers can control the energy. With that, again, not too much to add. I just wanted to say on a personal note, that was impressive having a couple of really good students from your high school here. That was cool to see. And if anybody understands construction, 1 million cubic yards, that's no joke. So congrats on that project. But we've got a full team here, happy to answer any questions at all.
All right.
Thank you.
Does anybody have any questions for them before we go on?
Mayor, I believe you had some other public members that raised their hand wanting to speak. So I might want to
Okay,
do that first.
so we'll do all the public first. Anybody else in the public? Mr. Breerman.
I would just like to ask for a point of clarification from Mr. Ruth. So I don't know if now is the appropriate time or not. But I saw the dates about the ordinance. Was it 2899 or whatever number it was?
2899.
Yeah, 2899. And then there was also the construction, the CUP, the conditional use permit. I saw the years, but I didn't see specific dates. So I was looking for like when the dates were those were approved, and then also I know there was another ordinance that came before council late last year. So I'd like to figure out the timeline of when that came into.
Yeah, sure. The ordinance 2899 was approved.
Mr. Ruth, you're going to have to be up at the microphone, and staff would be happy to answer questions after the presentation, but generally speaking, it's the mayor's meeting and we don't engage in debate.
We'll get there. Okay.
There's a lady straight out in front of you, the lady in the
I don't.
tab.
What?
The lady in the front row wants to speak.
Okay, go ahead. Yeah, please. I don't know what's going on here.
I'm not much for speaking in public, but so.
I'm sorry, did you state your name?
Oh, I'm sorry, Diana Behrens. Anything else? I'm not familiar with the
And your address.
protocol. Really?
Name and address. Yeah.
Okay. 5604. Do you want where I live? Because I don't live in Sumner, but I do own property in Sumner.
Your address where you live, and can you speak loud so we can hear you?
Okay.
I didn't get your name either. So.
Diana Behrens.
Thank you.
How's that? I can't. Okay. Address 5604 117th Street, Court East, F102, Puyallup 98373. So I'm not sure. I'm new to this stuff. This is my second one. I came last week. So if any of this has already been covered, I apologize. But I have a question on, does anybody know what a mortgage on its easement rights refers to? It was in the slide. Also, I'm wondering if you can point out what exactly all the changes are to this edition. Is there such a thing that would be pertinent as impact fees to Sumner regarding this? $25,175 seems like a very minuscule fee from such a big company for such a big project. I'm wondering what happens after the 31 years, which seems like an extremely extensive lease term for an original term, given that all this is new. Nobody knows what to expect. No one's done this before. Let's see. And he referred to the lines coming down after the terms of the lease. Kind of alluded to it being respectfully soon after, but I think that should probably have a very clear date. And then I'm also very curious, what is the vision after the first 31-year lease? Thank you.
Thank you for your comments. All right. Doug, did you want to follow up on that, or?
If you'd like me to.
Mayor, the appropriate process under Robert's rules would be for the city council to request clarification or ask questions of the staff member that's presenting the issue, and not have staff going back and forth with public commenters. That violates the
So just move on with comments then.
Council are
questions?
welcome to ask questions, clarification of staff.
Okay.
Any questions that they'd like.
Okay, we have Carla Bowman here.
I'll help out.
Yeah, please.
Okay, it's good. So those were great questions that were just asked, and I would like you to answer them, if you could, please, for the council.
Yes, I'd be happy to.
Thank you.
Thank you.
And I'll try to cover them all. The ordinance was enacted in November of 2024, and the permit was awarded in August of 2024. Mortgage of easement rights refers to, well, an easement is a property right, and so you can mortgage any property right. And so that refers to, I don't think you would mortgage the property right of easement singularly, but if a company wants to get financing, they have to have collateral that covers the full operations. If you aren't willing to, or if you won't award as collateral your driveway or your walkway to your front door to your bank, they're not going to be very happy about giving you your mortgage, because they'll have no way to sell the property that'll be usable. You can't walk up your driveway. You can't walk to your front door. No one's going to buy that property if they have to foreclose on it. So the and Bright Knight might be better to answer this question, but the understanding is that the mortgage would include all rights, including the easement rights, so that any lender would be able to foreclose and have the full operation. The changes that were made largely since the committee adopted, adopted a due pass, are largely in Section 1. It increased the easement from the surface to 25 feet higher, and in Section 7, it added the relocation section on there. And thirdly, the payment through the community benefit agreement. Those are the three major, without going line by line, those are the big changes since the committee adopted a due pass. The $25,175, even though this is a big project, that amount is for compensating the city for giving up a right. And we're giving up a right of airspace over a roadway that itself is an easement that can be moved, can be changed. We can force them to move those lines at any time that we need to do work. So it's not really, when you come right down to it, a valuable right. What is valuable? Well, usually that's done by appraisal. We did an analysis based upon our appraisal that was done on air rights easements, 4 lines in 2023 regarding the Stewart River Bridge. We looked at the price that was established for that air easement, and we applied it to the square footage here. We diminished the easement discount a little bit because the Stewart River Bridge easement appraisal dealt with industrial property, where you can develop industrial property as long as there's not lines there, where you can't really develop the road. No one can build on the road. We just drive on it. So it has a much lesser value than a industrial property would be. So we decreased, well, or increased the discount for the easement. It was a lesser amount per square foot. And then, of course, the square foot was changed. So that's how we come up with the $25,175. Impact fees, I believe impact fees must have been assessed. That has to do with the CUP. It's all been done. I believe it must have been assessed for this development, but I must say I don't know that off the top of my head. But it either was or wasn't. It doesn't regard this easement. There would be no impact fees for this easement, of course. Did I capture everything? Oh, 31-year lease. Well, if the Bright Night Company extended those leases another 10 years, then the easement would continue on in 10 years. If they did not extend the leases, then the easement would terminate. They would have to take down the lines. Or if they did not do so, we would take them down using the bond or security. Or the bond company would do so if we called them in on it. Oh, the time period, yes, and I'm sorry, that is in there. Sorry, I just don't know it off the top of my head. Decommissioning, they have 121 days.
Okay, so I'm just going to ask, per Robert's Rules of Orders, we need to have the person ask the questions. I mean, it's not that they're not valid questions, but we do need to follow the rules that we would follow here. So with that being said, button it up.
Okay.
Thanks.
Thank you. 120 days.
Thank you.
Can I ask? Jason has something down there.
Go ahead.
Thank you, Mayor. I
Jason.
just want to add one point of clarification to what Mr. Ruth just said. While a conditional use permit has been issued, no building permit has been issued yet. And when those permits are issued is when we'd collect impact fees as well as other development fees. There's also additional, ongoing property tax and sales tax revenue that'll be part of this project as well.
Thank you, Jason.
Okay, so Barb had something and Andy's got something.
All right.
But are you to us yet?
Barbara?
Are you to us yet, or is the public done?
Nope. Is the public, do we have any more comments from the public first before we move on here? All right, seeing none. Barbara, do you have questions?
So, I'm familiar with Bright Night, especially your support of the local community, and there's a chart in your handout here that is good to see, but the potential direct tax benefit is $41.4 million. Is that over the 31 years, do you think?
Through the mayor, Madam Councilwoman, yes, that's over the life of the project. So that this would be the sum at the end of the project. If you add up all the taxes that were paid, it would be the total there, which is a little over $40 million.
Yeah. So, but we do appreciate you. Like, I'm part of Rotary, and you've been very generous at our golf tournament, and then the food bank and Main Street. That you're giving back to the community in good ways, which we appreciate.
Sumner's been great to work with.
Thank you.
Andy's got something over here.
Okay, Andy.
Yeah, my question was actually along the same lines. I was actually looking at that and I was trying to understand it. So it sounds like there's quite a few different things, and I appreciate the presentation. So I wasn't sure. So it was $30,000 a year for the duration every year for 31 years plus for the lease, or how does that work? And then the tax benefit, is that sales tax generated through construction? Like what does that mean? I'm just kind of trying to make sure I understand that. It's a pretty big number. So just not sure what type of tax, utility tax or et cetera.
through the mayor, Mr. Councilman, yeah, consulting with Hopalong Cassidy over here, who's the expert. But the $30,000 a year during operation of the project, it is a commitment to provide $30,000 every single year to the city. During operations, that's correct.
And what is the what does it mean potential tax?
Point of order. Go ahead, Jason.
I'm sorry to interrupt. I just want to make sure that council understands what we're talking about tonight. We are talking about an easement. So any questions about what you're considering tonight for a vote need to be relevant to the easement specifically, not the overall project, not the community benefit. I'm sure Bright Knight is happy to answer any of these questions after the meeting, or in another setting we can bring them back. But per Robert's rules, we need to stay focused on what this agenda item is tonight, which is the easement.
Okay. Well, it's in the presentation, so it seemed relevant. So.
Okay. Thank you, Jason.
So, thank you, Jason. So I would make then a formal request. This is the first time I've seen it. It was handed to me. I understand we're talking about the easement, but I'm going to want to come back and understand that. It's the first time I'm seeing it. So I would appreciate that. Thank you.
Okay, let's move on. Oh. Go ahead, Greg.
It's on the easement, so it's not on anything else.
Okay, goodness. All right.
So I've heard 25 feet and 45 feet. Are the lines going to be at 25 feet off the ground or 45 feet?
They'll be at 45 feet. The
45.
easement starts at 25, but that gives them extra area to work and such, but it will be at 45
So
feet.
it should be at the max 45 feet.
Well, yeah, that's not the max. The actual column of air goes higher than that, but it starts at 25, and the lines will be at 45, and they could work higher than that if they needed to be.
Okay, thank you.
All right. Any more questions on the easement?
Doug, I'm going to ask you to probably come back. I'm sorry. And just a point of clarification, related to the easement, the community benefit. Okay to ask questions about. Okay. I didn't provide this before because it's fairly fresh, but the project that's on East Valley Highway for the $25,000, what is that project exactly?
It's an improvement of the intersection, so there will be a consultant that will analyze that intersection and the traffic control there, whether or not it should be a roundabout, a signal, a stop sign, and then by that recommendation, a design will be made, of course, with concerning budget and grants, and improved along those lines.
Okay, so that money would go towards a study then, is that right?
Probably so.
Okay.
Could go any part of it, but I guess that would be up to Public Works, but likely that it would go towards the study.
And then some things, I'm sorry, Doug, I know you went off the hook. Just a couple more things, and we did swap an email on these things, but in terms of the easement and emergency services, I know there has been public comment previously about best systems and emergencies and fires and things of that nature. So just in understanding how emergency services would access the area if that was aerially or another way, they would still be able to access that this would not impede our ability as a city or emergency responders to access the area for a fire, air quality, things like that.
Right. I mean, in terms of the easement over the right-of-way, certainly you have 5 lines there, but as you could see from the tour, there are many lines along there, so transmission lines of different sort. So however the emergency services now deals with those lines would be similar, that they would have to deal with them at that point. If we're talking about an emergency at the best facility, it shouldn't have any impact on that. They're 45 feet up, so any emergency vehicles that need to get there should be having no problem to get underneath them or deal with them. So it shouldn't have, as far as I can see, a great impact either at the easement location or at the best facility location.
Okay, great. That's all I have.
All right. Any more questions on the easement? You're good. All right. Andrea, is there anything you would like to? You're good? Okay. Will the clerk please call the roll? For the easement.
Elfers?
Yes.
Ranky?
Yes.
Cole?
Yes.
Bowman?
Yes.
Clarigat?
Yes.
Shadow?
Yes.
Kenna?
Yes.
All right. Passes unanimous. Thank you. All right, moving on. Ordinance number 2937, funding Sumner's transportation benefit. Deputy Mayor Bowman, would you like to make a motion?
Yes, I would like to make a motion to approve ordinance number 2937, funding Sumner's Transportation Benefit District.
Thank you. Do I have a second?
I'll second.
Seconded by Mr. Kenna. All right. I call on Communications Director Carmen Palmer. Ready to go.
Good evening, Mayor and Council. Thank you. I know we've been talking about Transportation Benefit District all summer, and so here we are with the final piece, which is funding it. So just a reminder, you passed ordinances to establish a district, and then you adopted an ordinance to assume leadership and control of the district and its decisions. So now you have the authority to figure out how to fund the district. So here we are tonight. Just a quick recap. The reason you asked us to do this at the end as part of the 25-26 biennial budget process was because of this, primarily this graph. Roads, like most things, are much cheaper and easier to keep in good shape if you keep doing routine maintenance, not letting them fall into disrepair and then having to completely rebuild them. It's not only cheaper, it's easier on the adjacent businesses and residents, much easier to live next to road maintenance, even though that does cause a little bit of discomfort, than it is to be right next to a complete road construction project. So we know we were falling behind in doing routine maintenance of our roadways, so you asked us to look at a transportation benefit district. The state does give you a number of funding options within a transportation benefit district, including a 0.1% sales tax, a 0.3% sales tax, and car tab fees that start at $20, and there's different ways it can go up to $50. Even though the state gives these, you gave us direction when we were forming the district to only put into code the first one. You were not interested in the second two, so even though funding didn't come before you tonight, we did not add those second two into Sumner's code because we didn't want people wondering all summer what you were going to do tonight. Did you really mean you were following that 0.1%? So we wanted to make that very clear. That doesn't mean subsequent councils can't amend the code to in the future pursue other funding options, but before you tonight, per your code, really the only option available to you is the 0.1% sales tax. And the big reason for that is the one funding option that spreads the burden of the costs among the people using Sumner's roads. All the other ones, car tabs, if you looked at raising Sumner's property tax lid, those all fall on the residents. And we know that while 11,000 people live here, we have 22,000 members at the Y, an estimated 18,000 people working on our north end. We have a lot of other people using Sumner's roads. And they may not all shop in Sumner. Shoot if they don't. But it is a much better way to capture the people driving, those people driving on Sumner's roads, rather than putting the full burden on the 11,000 people living here. Sumner does not take any new tax or rise in funding lightly. We are actually in Pierce County one of the last cities to pursue a transportation benefit district for this funding option. And you'll see by some of these years, other cities went forward actually long ago. And the time has come. And there's a mix of if they picked sales tax or the license fee. That 1.1% sales tax option actually wasn't offered for a while. The state added that option later, so there was a benefit to waiting. Even with this 0.1%, we are still toward the bottom of the sales tax. The medium gray, starting with Gig Harbor, shows the difference if you are in the RTA or not, the Regional Transit Authority. That definitely changes your sales tax rate much more than this. That said, there's lots of new taxes, so I picked three things, and I picked these back in March, so I'm not sure if these are still the prices, but they give you an idea on items being sold in Sumner, how it would change the sales tax. As I said, you've already formed the district. You've already assumed leadership of the district. So before you tonight is simply the question of whether or not to fund it at the 0.1% sales tax. And that is the end of my presentation.
Thank you, Carmen. Any comments from the public on this matter? Mr. Adams. State your name and address, please.
Randall Adams, Sumner, Washington. I would reiterate to you, again, as I've spoken previously, that you use these funds for chip and seal. Do not use them for going in and rebuilding roads. Let's get ahead of what we're doing here. So long term, let's think long term and not such short term panic mode. Let's do it long term and stay ahead of it, because with all the traffic that we have going through Sumner, that's where it can suit us best and we can get the best benefit from it.
Anybody else? Okay. Any comments from the council? Let's start at the end. Mr. Canna.
Carmen, can I ask a question regarding the public comment there? What the funds can be used for? What are the restrictions around that?
Sure. These funds can be used for maintenance and construction. I will say it is the maintenance that we are primarily, we didn't restrict ourselves by the code, but this is primarily envisioning these for maintenance because we're pretty good at getting construction grants for construction. It's the maintenance there's no grant funding out there for, particularly maintenance of residential roads. So while we left the option open, should a situation arise where we get an amazing grant and we're a little short and future councils might want to use this money to preserve that grant funding, the vision really is for the maintenance.
Thank you.
Greg.
Yeah, just a couple comments on it. As much as nobody likes to raise anything, I think this is the best option. I will be supporting it tonight, the 0.1%. 800 to 850,000 is a lot of money, but when it comes to chip seal and to, replacing a road or site, whatever, it's very expensive. And one thing I learned in the last 16 months I've been on the council, what these projects really cost. I mean, it's astronomical what it costs to replace stuff. I do agree with Randall. The chip seal is a good preventative maintenance. That's what we need to start doing and trying to keep ahead of it. But the 800 to 850 it's a lot of money, but in this aspect, it's not going to do a whole lot, but it's going to do some, which is better than nothing. And then I also just, one of the last cities, Sumner is one of the last cities to get on it. Most of our neighbors all have it. Either they have the percentage or they have the car tab fee. So I'm good with this because it does kind of distribute the wealth between everybody for transferring through Sumner. If you live in Sumner, we're all paying it. We're all paying it up here also. So I just think it's the best option for right now. And it's the best thing to do for right now. So I will be supporting it tonight. Thank you.
All right. Barbara, go ahead.
So I too will be supporting it. I just know that we have roads in town like Washington Street that really it's taken too long to get it fixed and replaced. And so something like that. And then if this can help get our road system into a better schedule of when we do maintenance, then we might not run into some of the problems we have today. So I will support it.
Thank you. Anybody down here? Pat? Go ahead, Pat.
I'm not quite as good as off the hip like everybody else, so I write mine down. So I know costs are going up in everything. And with forming a TBD funded by 0.1% sales tax spreads that tax outside of just Sumner residents, but they in turn get the full benefit of it. So if this does pass, and I'm for it, coming from over 30 years in public work maintenance, the street maintenance budget was always under budgeted for everything that needed fixed for that year. It was, if we fix this, we've had to postpone something else, if it even happened. So I'm hoping the council, because I won't be here when this comes in, uses these funds for the maintenance more so than filler funds for shortfalls in public work projects. Thank you.
Thank you, Pat. Go ahead, Andy.
I just want to say, when we did the budget cycle last year, it was interesting to kind of see the changes in the last 10 years or so, how we've really shrunk the chip seal budget and got rid of it and didn't have a lot of reserves for keeping up on stuff. And so I think this is really important right now, because I do think it is a long-term thing that we don't have to get behind. We already are behind, actually, but it allows us to catch up a little bit, and it keeps us ahead of it. So I think it's an important thing. It's not a significant amount of tax now. I think if we weren't to do this, and I am supportive of it, I think if we weren't to do this now, then we would find ourselves in a position where we would be so far behind on roads, it'd be very difficult to catch up. So I think we already are behind it, and this is really just keeping us from getting so far behind that we can't catch up. So the costs are pretty high, and I think this does a lot more connect the cost to the users with the sales tax. So I do appreciate the way the taxes are distributed because we do get a lot of drive-through traffic. So I do appreciate that it picks that up and not just the residents. Thanks.
Thank you, Andy. Councilmember Cole, did you want to?
I guess I will weigh in just a little bit, just to say that, yes, I support it, but my only concern, which I'm sure I've said before, is that just we're incrementally adding more and more taxes. And even though this is really small, thank goodness, but we're adding more and more. So we just need to really kind of watch that. That's it. Thanks.
Anybody else? Nope. Are we good? All right. Clerk, please call the roll.
Mayor, would you like to see if there's anyone who has a comment on Zoom?
Anybody on Zoom have any comments? Don't see any. All right. Okay.
Ranky?
Yes.
Kenna?
Yes.
Elfers?
Yes.
Cole?
Yes.
Potato?
Yes.
Bowman?
Yes.
Clairgett?
Yes.
Passes unanimous. All right. Reports. Councilmember Kenna.
All right, I got to go first here. Yeah, one thing in particular on my mind, I know, I think we've addressed this in previous meetings, but with school back in session, I know our local police have been emphasizing, good driving habits around our schools during school hours. I myself walk my kids on certain days. I ride my bike on certain days to get them. And I think everybody's got places to go, and we just need to be very mindful of the little people in our world that are using our sidewalks, our crosswalks, biking themselves. I actually see more kids biking this year than I have in previous years, which is great. But I just really want to be mindful of that and make sure everybody's kind of thinking about that when they're driving around our schools. We've got really accessible schools on foot or on bike, which is a fantastic thing, but it does bring a little bit more friction when we're driving around in our vehicles too. So thanks for the good work to our local police, and just make sure that everybody's being thoughtful about that. Thank you.
Thank you. Deputy Mayor Bowman.
Yes, hi, thank you. So I just wanted to take a minute. I don't know how many people have heard about Mother to Many Ministries, but I actually had the opportunity last Wednesday to go out and witness what they do. They were over by the skate park. We're coming in a tough time of year for a lot of kids and a lot of people. For those that heard me about a month ago, I talked about how many families a day go through the food bank and how much food goes through there. So this is another element separate from the food bank. This gal, Joanne Whitler, and her son Stephen, they live out in Roy. They go to at least 6 different areas that I'm aware of where they go and the kids can come after school. They have about 20 donors from Alaska Airlines employees to Chick-fil-A, 5 different churches here in the community. I've seen some pictures of Deputy Chief McCurdy back there and Mayor Hayden and City Administrator Jason Wilson. They're supporting them. So I would just ask that, knowing that we're coming into the fall, a lot of these kids, this is the meal that they get for the day, or potentially sometimes they take extra for the week. So, you can go on their website. They've got a website. It's called Mother to Many. And you can just Google it. And there's a number of ways to donate. You can donate blankets. You can donate food. You can donate clothes. But it was really quite a blessing to see this gal with all of her volunteers lined up, all the kids coming in. She knows just about every single one of them by name. So I would just ask that people take a minute, go online, especially this season. I know it's already September, but we're going to come into the holidays. And maybe if you're a family that doesn't really need anything and you want to donate, you can spend between $350 to $385 and donate to this cause, and that could be a great Christmas gift as a family. So I would just like to put that out there. So I appreciated it. So I thank people that support this cause. Thanks.
Councilmember Clairgett, did you have anything?
Nothing tonight.
All right. Councilmember Cole.
Nothing tonight.
Councilmember Elfers.
I have nothing tonight.
Councilmember Botetto.
I have a couple things. 10 years ago yesterday, the Y opened its doors, and so they've been having a celebration last week and this week. And we're lucky to have that facility in our community. It was brought to the community by a group that got together and worked with the city and the YMCA, so we're quite proud of that. And they do have nearly 22,000 members. And then on the 25th of August, some of us went to the convocation for the school district, and the motto for the year is Strong Minds, Kind Hearts, which I think is a good motto to have. And then I'd like to thank the FCCLA students who came and spoke about the stormwater. And then as far as safety, it's great to see more of the police presence around the school districts. But we also need to, unfortunately, the accident that happened at the railroad crossing today, people need to know that the trains, often people don't know or even hear them because we've had too many accidents with cars and pedestrians at that crossing. So I just want people to be more aware and be safe.
Thank you. Councilmember Ranke.
Yeah, I have a few things. Thank you, Mayor. I attended the Titus Will Cars, used truck and cars, grand opening and ribbon cutting. It was a very nice ceremony and very nice place. I know it's brand new, so it's immaculate. It's a really beautiful building. It looks good. The building next to it's going to be a detail shop that's going up right now, but they don't really have a showroom or anything, but they have about 300 vehicles there that they showcase. And just so people know, the car dealership's bringing a lot of sales tax to the city. So this will be a good benefit to the city, and happy it's here. I also attended the 10-year anniversary with some other members and the YMCA. That was quite a feat, and I do want to give a shout out to Barb. She was one of the original members on that committee. So 10 years ago plus 7 years before that. So she's been doing this 17 years. And also to the Gordon family, and I see Ron Peterson here. His parents, Arlene and Gary, were very instrumental in the Y. And that's a fantastic facility. Like I say, 22,000 right now. They're expecting to go to 25,000 probably. And I mean, only 11,000 live in Sumner. So a lot of those, not all of them go to the Y, but they come from all over. So that's a great venue down there for everybody. And it's a great place for people to go and congregate and visit. And the anniversary was a real nice get together. Did a dance thing with the dancers and real nice program put on, so I appreciate that. The only other thing I'll say is down the road, so we have an open house coming up September 30th. It'll be at the Senior Center this year from 5 to 7. And the last thing I'll mention is homecoming this year is on October 17th, Friday night. There'll be a parade and homecoming football game against my alma mater, Curtis, so I will be there to root on the Spartans. Come on down. It should be a fun evening for the homecoming. Thank you, and that's all I have tonight, Mayor.
City Administrator Jason Wilson.
Thank you, Mayor. Coming up at next week's study session, we have 3 items on the agenda. First is the library update and a lease agreement extension. They'll be here to share some exciting news about their new library facility on Main Street across from Fred Meyer. We'll also be discussing the skate park demolition contract that'll be before council in October, as well as a donation and memorial policy code update. We do have 5 Mondays in September, so September 29th we will not be holding a meeting, which means our next regular council meeting is October 6th. So far on the agenda, we have a proclamation for Domestic Violence Awareness Month, a resolution authorizing petty cash for the Senior Center, as well as that skate park demolition contract approval. For the commission update, we had a planning commission meeting last week where they held 4 public hearings related to the 2025 comprehensive plan amendments. The planning commission will continue their review of the proposed amendments and make a recommendation in October, and the council will begin reviewing those proposed amendments in mid-October at one of your study sessions. You may have heard over the past week, the city experienced challenges with our utility billing software's capability of accepting credit cards and to process auto payments. I'm happy to report the system is back up and we were able to process those outstanding auto payments. The issue occurred due to work associated with an impending credit card processor upgrade that is scheduled in a few weeks, and we apologize for the inconvenience. I do want to thank a number of our staff, including Kelly Harder, Cassandra Raymond, and Brian Cunningham, who have spent a lot of hours during normal working hours and also after hours trying to get this resolved for our customers. So big thank you to them. And as a reminder, on October 1st, the city will provide the Ryan heirs and descendants with the opportunity to review and collect any items that were salvaged from the Ryan House. More information about the process can be found on our website. I do encourage people to check that post on a regular basis. There will be some updates this week pertaining to the release that we're going to be asking Ryan descendants and heirs to sign, as well as some questions that we've gotten regarding the beams, as well as timing and loading procedures. Happy to answer any questions.
Any questions? No. Any down here? No? Thank you, Jason.
Thank you.
Okay. Open house. The city's fall open house is coming up September 30th. So drop into the Sumner Senior Center this time from 5 to 7 and learn the latest information about major projects and chat with the staff and tell them what's on your mind. Also coming up, my favorite, Come Walk With Me. It will be the morning of Saturday, October 4th, beginning and ending at the old cannery and going down Main Street and into Sunset Stadium. It continues to grow into one of the area's largest walks to support breast cancer. And we're proud because it started right here in Sumner and it remains here. So you can sign up a team by going to their website, Come Walk With Me website, or you can make your own team up and you can have your own costumes and whatever. You can just walk out how you're dressed. It doesn't matter. So don't forget that it will affect the traffic, though. So we'll post a map on our website to help you avoid the closures. We have no executive session tonight, so I will adjourn this meeting at 7:22.